Well, good morning, everybody. It's not even 8:30, and I've already been up since before 6 o'clock. And Jock and I have been out for a long walk, although um, it tends to be him taking me for the walk rather than the other way around. But that's one job done. So this evening, Jane and Diane on their two respective channels, Sharper Than the Pencil and Talking with Conviction, are going to be doing a live at 9 o'clock on one channel, 10 o'clock on the other. Um, a, a kind of a live chat with the hosts and some of the guests of the event, and a bit of a debriefing, if you like. So look forward to that. In the meantime, I've been in touch with one or two people to try and get them to come on and talk about the recent developments. It was great that it was Stacey that actually got in touch with me and said, I'll come on and have a chat with you, Paul. It's always nice when people approach the hosts of channels to do that. And it's something I've always meant to say. If people are out there that feel that they want to come on and talk, you can do so in incognito, as it were, behind the screen. You can put up a picture of yourself and or any kind of picture and talk. You don't necessarily have to be on video, and you can put up any name you like. Okay, if anybody wants to do that, they just need to get in touch. It's easy enough to do that. I'm easy enough to find. And also, great news. I've managed to get hold of the Moose, and so we're going to round up a posse and do our usual Saturday afternoon live chat, 2 o'clock Wisconsin time, 8 o'clock in the UK, with Pete Dassey and guests. And it was great to see Pete and Bob on Linda and Becca's channel for the on the Sunday. In fact, it was Monday morning, wasn't it, when they were on for us in the UK. And I can't promise, Pete, that you're going to be surrounded by quite so many ladies. He seemed to have a permanent smile on his face about that one. You might have to settle for some of us ugly blokes, Pete, but never mind. As Pete says, we'll have a few, as he calls them, shits and giggles, which is what we're trying to do. I thought it was great that that Brendan competition. What do you know about Brendan? And everybody trying to fire in the answers as quick as possible. And there's me wanting to make sure that everything's spelled right. So it's like 20 answers later. I'm sometimes answering the question. The previous question by the time I finish typing it in. Anyway, never mind. So yeah, we've got a few videos lined up and on various channels. I think Millbilly's trying to round up a posse as well for tomorrow, so that would be good. But the one of the things I did want to say was that I've ordered up a couple of T-shirts. One is a "Keep Talking Till They're Walking," and one is a "Ask Me About the Control Question" at Ericose 2021. So once they arrive, I will try and show them off, model them if you like, and you'll be able to see what the new control question and keep talking till they're walking look like. In the meantime, though, let's sit back and enjoy classic Ericose, the one and only. And this is from a few years back as well. Not quite as old as some of them. He actually has his iconic music at the beginning. So make sure we're sharing sound. That looks good. Make sure we share the video. Click on share. That always helps. Let's get me out of the way. Let's do that. Pop that up there. Excellent. Click on full screen, and click on play.
Hello, everybody. You have tuned in to Eric Jose on Making a Murderer on YouTube. I cover virtually any aspect of making a murderer. I go over the evidence, the documents, the photos. So if you like, stay tuned, and in the future I'll have many more videos besides the one you're about to see. Hello, everybody. How you doing? We're here today to talk a little bit more about the call to report Teresa missing made by Karen Hallbach. And we're here to talk about the whole belly button piercing. So I've been having some interesting discussions regarding it, but I felt after having those discussions, I just felt I thought I would go ahead and just make some very frank kind of observations about whether or not there is a belly button piercing, and if perhaps somebody might take that out for some reason. So we're going to go ahead and talk about a few things, but we're going to start with the whether or not Teresa even had one. That's what we're going to start with, that topic first. So when Karen Hallbach calls dispatch and everything, they eventually ask her, after she's given Teresa's name and stuff, and so the person on the phone asks Karen, does she have any tattoos or piercings or anything like that, right? And the first thing that Karen said, listen, this is important so that you understand that this belly button piercing existed. The first thing that she says is not her ears are pierced. The first thing that Karen says is, I think her belly button is pierced. Now, why would she say I think? Well, it could be that Teresa's mom kind of didn't like the fact that Teresa got that piercing. She maybe wasn't really happy about it. And so telling a police officer that she had one probably wasn't keen to her. But the fact that she says it, I mean, think about it. This is a serious phone call to law enforcement to report your daughter missing. You're not going to be goofing around throwing out red herrings, are you? Right? You're not going to say things that you think are unlikely. You're not going to say things that you think are untrue because you want them to find your loved one. Am I right?
Sometimes.
So even though she says I think that whole little thing about I think she had a belly button piercing, I think means that Karen Hallbach wasn't all that thrilled about Teresa getting it. That's the way I read that, as what that really means. Because like I said, who's going to be throwing out red herrings to distract the investigators and the police from finding your loved one? Who's going to be wanting to do that? Especially since she mentioned it first before earrings. I think that speaks volumes as to the fact that this belly button piercing existed. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play that little clip of the call here for you real quick. And then we'll go ahead and come back and we'll talk about the second half.
Get as much information for us as you can. Do you know about any piercings, ears pierced or anything like that?
I think her belly button is pierced. But and her ears are good.
Okay. Pierced belly button and ears. Okay. Well, our officers are all out in the accident right now.
Yeah.
Are you going to be home all night?
Yes.
So, when it comes down to it, it's my opinion that the probabilities are that Teresa had a belly button piercing, because I really don't see any good reason why her mother would suggest something that she thought was not true. Just doesn't make sense. So I think that Teresa had a belly button piercing. Just the way that goes. So now that we've moved from that point, I'm not saying it's impossible. Actually, I would just want to clear that up. I'm not saying it's impossible that she didn't have, one. But what I am saying is it's improbable. And the reason why is, as I explained, you don't want to go around throwing out red herrings to investigators who are trying to find your loved one who you're very concerned about. You're going to be trying to give them all the most accurate information and that sort of thing. So, anyways, so that brings us to the second point. I was having a conversation today with two ladies. One of them is what some of you might call a guilter, and one of them was a supporter. So I was having this conversation, and they were basically questioning me, saying, well, she had taken it, she took it out, or she could have took it out. It started out she could have took it out, and I said, well, that's not. I go, that's kind of counterintuitive, isn't? Or that's kind of like the opposite of what I would hear. The girls that I've known that had one, when they would talk about like how they keep it clean and what, when they change, studs or change barbells or whatever and all that stuff, it was always a thing where they never liked to take it out for very long. They just took it out to clean and whatever, or put a new one in. But they never liked to leave it out very long because it would start to like close, or it would constrict, and trying to get it, if you would wait a couple days and trying to get it back through, they'd be able to get it through, but it would be kind of painful and very difficult because the hole would have kind of shrunk down a little bit where these barbells would go through. So that's the way I remembered it. So when I'm listening to these, having this conversation chat in a group, I was like, wait a second, that doesn't seem right. So I said so. I basically said that, look, it was Halloween, it was, and Teresa was a young woman on Halloween who was going to be going out to a party. Halloween tends to be one of those things. I mean, I know all throughout my 20s, that's what Halloween parties were. That was people going to meet people or whatever, or hook up even, whatever it might be. It was always had provocatively dressed people at the party. There was always, there was always just stuff there. It was very adult themed, of course. And so I can't imagine that it being one of those times where she might have been hoping to meet a cute guy and have a few drinks and whatever, like most people do when they're in their 20s on Halloween. She was hoping to meet a nice guy or something, hey. She wouldn't have wanted to leave that out, because if she ended up, meeting a guy she really liked and the night went well, she wouldn't want to be without, the pretty little jewelry that she got because she wanted to show off, her stomach, because she has such a flat stomach, or because she has a nice toned stomach, or whatever it might be. That's the reason why girls tend to get the belly button ring, because they feel pretty and they get something pretty to go along with, the way they feel. That's kind of the point of it, at least the way I've always understood. So after this conversation with these two ladies, I was left wondering, okay, well, maybe I have it wrong, because I have never had a belly button piercing. I certainly don't know through firsthand, but I just know from what I had heard. So I went into a group, and I went ahead, and it was full of, a fair amount of people that would have belly button piercings, and asked the question, look, if you had a belly button piercing, would you ever, would you take it out? Or why would you take it out, and that sort of thing. And the responses came back basically like I was saying. A lot of them were saying they only took it out like, one reason was pregnancy. When they would get pregnant, their doctor would say, look, take that out, because during the pregnancy, with all that's going on, that can cause a lot of issues or create problems or whatever. So it's a lot of answers came back with pregnancy. It came out during pregnancy. Okay, that's good. Okay, medical procedures. Yes, got it. Okay. Don't think Teresa had any of those. Haven't heard about it anyway, on the 31st. Or the 30th or whatever. So, I don't know if there was that or not. Doesn't seem likely, seeing as we have never heard of it. And a lot of other ones were basically like to take it out to clean it. or to change it, because they have like 2 or 3, so they, every couple days just change the new one, and then clean the one that they take out and put it back in rotation, right? So but other than that, a lot of them were very reluctant to take their belly ring out. They didn't like to take it out, not at all. Even there was even a couple that even said they got it when they were young, and that now maybe they're not so keen about the belly button ring anymore, but it's been there for so long, it's a part of them now, and they actually acknowledge it as so. And I truly believe that's because the reason why they got it in the first place is because they felt pretty, and they got something that they felt accentuated that and punctuated it, in their own way of seeing themselves and in their own self-esteem, which is great. So that's the way I always understood it. So for as far as I understood, it was very uncommon to take it out, and for me, it would have been extremely more uncommon for a young lady to take it out on Halloween when you're going to be going to a party and potentially meeting a guy you like, or whatever may happen. Now, I'm not even saying that Teresa was setting out to go get her some that night. I'm not even saying that. All I'm saying is there may have been a guy she'd been talking to recently who was going to be at that party, or she might have met somebody else that she knows from her past at the party who she might see in a different light. Because everybody's growing up. She's 24. She's in her mid-20s. Her friends are in their mid-20s. They're starting to grow up. Everybody starts to look different to each other when they start to grow up after they leave high school. Because the high school, chain of, the high school food chain kind of dissipates. And everybody goes out in the real world and starts getting jobs, and things start to change and things start to look different. So she might have met somebody else that she had always been friends with that she suddenly found she had an attraction to. There's a lot of reasons. You never know what's going to happen in life. So I'm not at all saying that Teresa would have been going out strictly for that purpose. No, that's not what I'm saying. Just to make sure nobody misconstrues what's happening or what I'm saying here. Okay? What I am saying is that she would have been setting out to hopefully go see or meet that guy she had been talking to recently who was going to be at that party, or she could potentially meet up with somebody that she's always known that she suddenly feels a spark for or whatever, and things, one thing leads to another. But whatever, or she might have just gone to the party, had a few drinks, hung out with some of her friends, played a few games at the party or whatever was going on. Sometimes they put on little shows at the parties. Depends who throws the party, obviously. But, hung around for a bit and then went home. That's also a perfect option. That belly button ring was there. Which leads to 2 things. One you've already heard me talk about. It makes the control question even more ridiculous. The other thing is that this belly button piercing, this ring, would have survived the fire. It should be among the bones. It should have been there. It should have been found. And that's the thing that's also odd here. So, and as I've always said, these bones were moved. Every expert in the case says they were moved. It's only the prosecution's bone expert that claims that they moved in the opposite direction. But anyway, moving beyond that. But the fact of the matter is that you can't deny the fact that all the bone experts are saying these bones moved. Which direction, whatever, bones moved. So, we don't find this belly button piercing, this, little barbell that used to be in Teresa's belly button, along with the bones. And remember, we only have 60% of those. And some of them are stuck in the bottom of a burn barrel over behind Barb Yonda's house trailer. So we never find this thing. It's not there. It's further, and to me, it's just further evidence that these bones were moved. It's just further proof, because they should have found it. It should have been there. If they were sifting it, if she was burning at that fire pit, and they were there with sifting equipment and backloaders and, you know, everything, they should have found it. You know, so I know that the other side, you know, those who believe that Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey are guilty, are going to continue to say she didn't have one, or like today, she took it out, and, you know, these various things that people are going to say. But it's improbable. The probability is that Karen Halbach was giving truthful information because she was hoping that they would be able to find her loved one, who she was very, 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 very worried about. It does not make sense that she would be throwing out red herring information. I don't know how to make it any clearer than that. So, like I said, in my mind, there's a very slim chance that she didn't have one at all. But to me, it's a slim chance, because if she didn't have one, then why in the heck is Karen Halbach talking about a belly button piercing? And why is she mentioning it before earrings? I mean, these are valid questions. So, makes it clear that this belly button piercing was there. So anyways, like to hear everybody's thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you.
Okay, so that was a video from a while back. Obviously, Karen Holbach creates a lot of discussion and debate. It's just one of the many things that as yet we've still to get to the bottom of, and fully understand the dynamics within the Holbach family. You know, been suggested that Karen doesn't seem too perturbed. We've got a brother who is a sort of stepbrother, Mike, whose grieving process. So he's already resigned himself to the fact that Teresa is dead while she's still only a missing person. Normally, it's the other way around. Normally, the family members are the last ones to accept that anything bad has happened to a loved one. But he's already decided that because Teresa is only a missing person, that she's already met her demise, and his grieving process could last a couple of days. So, you know, very, very suspicious, the Holbach family. But anyway, it's always great to see the dude and hear the dude talking about this stuff. Even I think it's 3 years since that particular video, could be 2. You can usually tell by the studio that he's in. You know, he's in his new studio. It's not fully decorated, as you see this behind me. And of course, he's got his iconic music at the start, which he used for, I would say, about six months or so, until he started using obviously Stacey's tunes to introduce the video. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that one. There'll be plenty more on its way. As I said, I've been in touch with a few more people, and you know, looking to grow the community, whereby we have, you know, as a result of the weekend, keep talking till they're walking, as you heard Mark saying. You know, there's the funds and the equipment there to help a couple of people to, once they've applied and got through the process, to be sent some equipment. And also the mentoring as well is the other thing that one or two people have said. You know, they've already got the equipment, but the mentoring would be useful. Rest assured, you can always reach out to anybody within the community for help. They are great people. I remember Millbilly once spent several hours helping me set up OBS, and I actually managed, with his assistance, to do a live video. At the moment, the StreamYard and the Zoom is working fine, but I will get back to the OBS at some point. It's good, and you know, Millbill is into all this technical stuff. He uses a sort of a chat video called Meet, which I've only just discovered. He's way ahead of me when it comes to that sort of stuff. But anyway, so was the dude. Both technically gifted individuals. Anyway, we'll see you all again soon, with whoever I manage to twist the arm of next. But as I say, look out for this evening, 9 o'clock and then 10 o'clock UK time. So that's 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock Wisconsin time. It's a bit early for the Aussies. We were hoping to get Dr. Siltman on board, but it's a bit early for him, and he's got an appointment anyway. So we'll hopefully catch up with him at a later date. Anyway, we'll catch you all again soon. Bye for now.